What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and leave it to a Friday for us to get a pretty big piece of information. Remember the incident that happened in Nashville, the one that has some sort of weird, intense cover-up going on. You know how there was all these writings that were supposedly recovered that day, and then they're just being, brushed under the rug. You know, the individual who walked in, to church and did terrible things. You know, if they were wearing a MAGA hat, probably would have been released the same day. Well, there was a new search warrant that has been issued, and new pieces of information that perhaps proves a lot of people right just came out, including some various pills that certain people might have been on that people suspected and things of that nature. Given the nature of this video, I'm sure YouTube's not going to like it, so I'm glad to have a sponsor for it, Private Internet Access. Shout out to this video's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2024. If you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is never censored. If you don't have a VPN yet, now would be a great time to get it, especially using my link. It's the VPN I use on all my mobile devices, on my laptops, computers. Make sure you grab it today. So the Nashville losers rant revealed at last. They wrote about their individual turmoil as being trans and how she would end people to get puberty blockers. The Tennessee Star has obtained dozens of pages of the, quote, secret manifesto. The FBI in Nashville have argued in court that they should not be released. Of course they should be released. I suspect that this individual was on certain prescriptions that may have led to an unstable mental state, and I'd like to know if those prescriptions are connected to the behavior of other individuals that have seemingly done this in the past 6 months or a year. She wrote about her imaginary ween and how they would end people to get puberty blockers in just days before the incident. The Tennessee Star obtained some 4 dozen pages. By the way, if you haven't yet, wherever you're watching this video, subscribe or follow down below because we'll have the full release Monday. I've talked to the reporters at the Tennessee Star. It looks like Monday it's going to come out, so I'll cover that first thing in the morning or second it comes out. It has now shed more light on their female-to-male transition and why they did what they did. They wrote about anger towards parents and how she hated her conservative Christian upbringing. Oops. So now we know that most likely that conservatives were targeted, an inconvenient truth for mainstream media. The writings, sometimes referred to as the Manifesto, have been a source of much controversy, with many claiming officials of keeping them secret because they would cause harm to the trans community. I don't care what their claims are. I want to know what's in them. Why? Because in every other single scenario, it seems like, I could be wrong, but I suspect that would be the exception and not the rule. In every scenario that I've found, they release them. They release them really quickly, too. So The writings referred to have now been released, help explain why the 28-year-old did what they did. You see here, the journal entries began titling my imaginary peen and included a crude drawing. It exists in my head. I swear to God, I am male. They wrote in the papers, which were recovered by PD. Then went on to write about a desire to have one so that they could hook up with a woman in an assumed identity as Aiden. They then wrote about how using the name on a job application for a food delivery position led to issues with the company's background check. Hale said that being raised a girl was, quote, torture, and she worried that their classmates would call her all sorts of bad words. Hey, by the way, this kind of stuff is pretty normal and understandable, especially if you're going through gender dysphoria, which, again, I've never denied is a thing. I think that gender dysphoria is real and that it's often over diagnosed, in my opinion. I also think that there's a gigantic parasitic industry attached to this, wanting to make sure they get, as many people on as many pills for the rest of their life as they possibly can. So then they wrote, that all changed when they learned about, coincidentally, transgenderism in the early 20s. I finally found the answer. That changing one's gender is possible. It actually isn't. But mom was not on board. What she believes, how she grew up conservatively, and the LGBTQ, especially trans, was an enigma, nearly non-existent. Hale wrote, she added that I hate parental views, how my mom sees me as a daughter, and she'd not bear it to want to lose her daughter because a son would be the end of Audrey. She also, again, these writings seem pretty normal, right? Like pretty normal. Then they used very, R-rated language when talking about the emergence of blockers in the 2010s. And they were hailed at the time for helping trans preteens safely delay onset, which we now know is definitely in question because, we don't know. I can't show you this because it looks like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. Is this? No, these are just drawings. Okay. So the drawings to be consumed. My orientation was not gay. It was not straight. So these are actual pages. These are actually pages. I'm trying to see. Okay, so I don't think there's anything. These just look like mountains or something. Okay, so I can show this, I think. Just in case, make sure you download the Rumble app and follow the quartering. You can see a lot of things. Look up a lot of eating, consumption. You see a lot of this like deranged stuff. My orientation was not this, is not. Why did I need to be a woman? Gender is so influenced by the need to be used by men. Straight boy, straight woman, blah, 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 blah. It looks like apparently self-diagnosing their journey here. I'd end to have those resources. In 2007, they became a thing, but it came too late for Hale, who was already in the 6th grade and had already started. She then discussed dreaming about hooking up as a man by creating scenes with her stuffed animals. I can pretend to be them and do things and experience my boy self as Tony. Okay. Tony was her stuffed boy doll. They continued writing, all sorts of insane stuff, writing that I have waste too many times, this and that. That entry, by the way, was written just 16 days before the incident. Hale also wrote politically charged comments about 2A. So now in America, it makes one a criminal to do this, to observe 2A or be trans or not binary. God, I hate these S-head politicians. The papers were recovered from the car, which were left outside the school, and provided to the Star by a source close to the investigation. Well, interestingly enough, there's more information here. You see, a new search warrant revealed prescription list for this individual person and confirms actual thinkings about doing this event. So you see, let's see. Oh, look at that. They were on SSRIs. What a coincidence. Now, a lot of people are on them. That doesn't mean inherently a bad thing. It just seems like a lot of these people are on them. So you see, according to the notes taken by the person who reviewed the documents obtained when the search warrant was completed, they were given access to busiprone, Lexapro, some other set of Pram. I don't even know half of these. Sodium chloride nasal spray. Okay, well, so that's a nasal spray, not a big deal. You see these are depression medications, SSRIs. There's an anxiety medicine. So they were on like basically a million different pills. So one of these is an allergy pill, so no big deal. But also can be used with other medications to work on anxiety and tension, protect, all these various side effects. So they were on 5 different prescriptions. I don't think anyone's surprised about that. Also, you see this individual used Pell Grant, a federal Pell Grant, to purchase the items that they used in the incident. So there's that. She usually used government money to do that. Leaked snippets with more insight, state her mind before the event. Now look. Now we know why they're covering it up. Now we know why they were covering it up. This is this went from somebody who legitimately has a mental health issue, which is it's pretty clear, to somebody who encapsulates a lot of the criticisms about gender ideology and the way it's being handled by forcing pills on everybody and offering. You see people who are in a vulnerable state like this individual see these various pills and stuff like that as some sort of miracle cure that's going to change their life, and it doesn't. And then when that doesn't happen, they act out. And they were thinking about going in and doing this kind of stuff. I mean, it's wild. I suspect the additional writings, the additional drawings that will be released will be far worse. Whatever they're really, really trying to hold back will probably be far worse. And I sincerely hope that they get released very, very soon. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it and give it a share. And we'll talk to you again real soon.